you share your motivation, your energy, your purpose. You are clear, engaged. My question now, how we maintain the team, a global team, engaging in this direction with clear purpose, with clear motivation. So, what is your key to share with us? The secrets to maintain the team in this engagement, because it's so necessary, to
It
motivate,
is.
to make influence. We need to be engaged and motivated. So how?
So a number of things. I think the first thing, from a pure practical point of view, it's not to give everybody all the tools and the methods all at once, right? So this idea of the right tool at the right time, depending on where you are on your cultural evolution, right? We have that in place in L'Oreal, and we use a hybrid of the Bradley curve, right? The DuPont-Bradley curve. I mean, I don't think it matters what kind of curve, or whether it's the Hudson, whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? What matters is you have, going back to what you said, Megan, you have a destination. Your destination on the Bradley curve is interdependence, right? And then what we have is we put tools and methods along the line, and you put in place those tools and methods depending on where you are on your journey. So it's never done, right? So you're constantly in this mode of continuous improvement through to developing this culture of interdependence. Unfortunately, when you change a site manager or some of his Mancom people, they go back, right? Because the leadership has such an impact on culture, right? That you have to accept that when you change the leadership, there could be a change, right? Especially if we bring somebody in from external. So we give that focus, right? That focus. On the other hand, right, we're constantly reinventing things. So there was a program in place that L'Oreal had put in place in like 2005, for example, which was a very high level risk assessment program, but quite heavy, right? In 2018, we put it in the bin. After working with the senior leadership for health and safety worldwide, and we replaced it with a new tool. So it's that same thing of, when the poster's in front of you for so many years, you don't see the poster anymore. So you now need to change the poster. So we've got an evolution of our tools and methods that keep things fresh, right? And since about 2018, we've had a focus on this. These low probability catastrophic events that can kill somebody, irreversible accidents or something like that. And we called that program LIFE. And this is where the L'Oreal influence is. So we could have called it SIF or SIF program, and then everybody keeps on saying what's SIF all the time, because people outside of our profession haven't got a clue. We called the program LIFE, and it has 271 top-down items that you comply with to the word. No deviation, right? And we called it LIFE. We could have called it SIF program or SIF requirements, whatever. Everybody now, doesn't matter where they are in the world, Latin America, Asia, everybody knows life is life. And it's a little bit bringing in the aspect of sales and marketing into health and safety, right? And so there's things like that. And we changed this, another risk assessment program, high level. And it used to be called General SHAP, right? General Safety and Health Assessment Procedure. We love our acronyms in L'Oreal. We changed it to GAP, right? To Global Hazard Assessment Procedure, integrated quality, integrated environment as well more. However, it starts with the Mancom on the site. The Mancom can only ask 3 questions. Those 3 questions are quite simple. How am I going to kill somebody today because they worked for me? How am I going to give somebody an irreversible injury because they worked for me? And how is somebody going to get a terminal illness in 15 to 20 years because they worked for me? That's the only 3 questions they ask, right? And then they brainstorm on that. After they've done that, they then go out on the shop floor and they ask their teams exactly the same questions. Now, in some cultures, they don't like to say, how are you going to die today because you work for me, right? They don't like that. So they might say, how are you going to have an irreversible accident or something like that? But most of our sites actually use the word kill or how are you going to die today? Because A, it's impactful, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's impactful conversation. But secondly, you're identifying those risks that are the most important that need to be under control. And you could say, now, because of this shift that we did in 2018, by putting in place this program, we're almost saying, or it looks as if we're not bothered about the little accidents that are not potentially even serious, right? It could be nothing but a first aid case, for example. But the impact is the fact that we talk to everybody about these very high level things of what can happen. It has an impact on the way they see safety, and it has an impact, therefore, on things like the other types of incidents that can happen, whether reported or not, which is another conversation that we may have. But it sort of works. So I think going back to your question is, you keep it going by having this destination. You keep it by making sure that sites can't think that can tick the box all at one time. They need to evolve. We audit them on that as well, which is pretty tough for the sites as well. But also then you need to, some of the processes you need to reinvent. And the other thing, finally, if I can, back when we first started, everything was technical. I don't like things complicated. Get the risk sorted, put the engineering controls in place, the elimination, going back to hierarchy of controls. Get that in. Once we're doing that, and if we do that right by making sure the managers are doing the risk assessment, the employees are involved as well, you start in that journey, right? And then we push towards, now it's health and safety is driven by my manager with the support of our health and safety professionals. Then it's more we're all looking after each other kind of thing. And it's that kind of evolution, and that we actually build into our tools. So all our tools that we've developed has 3 questions for. Is what is the role of the manager? What is the role of the EHS professional? How do we want to involve the employee? And what is the leading indicator or KPI that drives success? Every single one of our tools is that. Now, if you come into L'Oreal, you'll see lots of KPIs that drive our tools, but they seem to work.